southeast corner of Peel Island. It's called Platypus Bay. This is the wreck of the Platypus, which was scuttled here in 1926 as a breakwater for the stone jetty that's behind it over there. The Platypus was a bucket dredge built in Scotland in 1883 for the Queensland government. And it dredged many channels along Queensland's 7,000 kilometre long coastline, including Platypus Channel in Townsville, which was named after it. So, when the Europeans first came to this area in 1823, they showed no interest at all in Peel Island. It wasn't until 1873 they set up a quarantine station here. They cleared that area above the bluff up there and it's put tents up there and later wooden buildings. And dozens of ships used to come. They'd have to anchor just in the deep water out here, be fumigated, and the passengers would have to live here for about a month or something. Lots and lots of people died of typhus and typhoid fever and smallpox and all that kind of thing. One of the first things they got the quarantine passengers doing was building the stone jetty by hand, just from all the rocks around here. And then in 1890 they got about 30 or 40 prisoners over from Brisbane to come and put a concrete surface on it. And the first thing they had to do, those prisoners, was build themselves a cell to live in while they were working, which is still up here in the bush. So let's go and have a look. There she is, just a little brick cell in the middle of the bush, about half a mile from the water. Apparently there's about 30 or 40 prisoners living in here. Peel Island may be a bit of a paradise, but I can tell you, the march flies, the mozzies, the giant spiders, red-belly black snakes, you name it, in this bush. It wouldn't have been a fun place to live, especially with those march flies and all the mozzies and midgies. Midgies would just drive you mad. Having a try and sleep in here at night in the middle of summer would have been just horrible. After the quarantine station closed down in the 1890s, they sent the inebriates over here. They had a benevolent asylum over at Dunwich, and the drunks, they decided they'd put them over here. And the worst of them had to stay in this cell. That was from 1910 to 1917, I think that was. I imagine that's when they would have put this wall in the middle. I guess maybe they put the women on one side, the men on the other side. I don't know, that's just a guess. So imagine that. Being told you're going over to lovely Peel Island to do a bit of work. You get here and the first thing you got to do is build yourself a nice little brick cell. When you're not working, that's where you'll be staying, in there. 30 or 40 of you. Just lovely. Just lovely. So when they were keeping the inebriates here, they looked for a few crops they could get them to grow, try and make some money. And one that seemed to work, that seemed to handle the not very good soil here, is sisal. So that's not native to Australia. Sisal for rope making. It's pretty much all through the bush here. That's still growing wild 100 years later. There's very little left here, except that cell, the remains of the sisal patch, and there's a well here. This is where the people from the quarantine station were getting their water. Lovely. It's pretty deep too. It's a beautiful plant, sisal. Basically they get these leaves and they scrape all the green off, and there's very strong fibres in there, and they get turned into the rope sisal, which was one of the main natural fibre cordages a long time ago. We're still using it when I was in the Navy actually. It shows how old I am. Colours in that sandstone. Amazing. As you can see, obviously only half of it is really showing. She's quite a bit bigger than that one. That island out there is Goat Island. You can't really see it, but there was another island in front of that called Bird Island. 150 years ago, it was a lovely little island apparently, a lot of tall oak trees and everything on it. But it just slowly disappeared. I think about the 1950s they replanted it again, and it held trees for a few trees anyway, for a few decades. But now she's pretty much gone. At low tide she's sandbank there. The old sea has a big claim to it. So the quarantine buildings were above the bluff up there. To start with, when the people were coming in and dying from typhus and all that, they were taking them over to Bird Island and burying them in shallow graves in quick lime in the sand. Good old health and safety police. There's nowhere they don't get to. Imagine those quarantine passengers coming back, building all this up by hand. Like ants, back and forward, all day, every day.